And we are live. Thanks for reminding me to record, Audrey. Okay, so we're going to screen share here and get started on tonight's topic, which is the speed of trust. All right, speed of trust. Credibility boils down to two simple questions. First, do I trust myself? Second, am I someone that others can trust? And so tonight we're going through a training that Audrey and I actually went through while we were in leadership last year. And we sat together. Actually, I pulled up this picture on purpose when I made the post for this webinar, because that was Audrey and I sitting through this same exact training together. And you can see on my desk right there the cards, which are the cards that we're actually using tonight to help guide us through this training and teach it to you guys and pay it forward. But this was us when we did this training together, and we both looked at each other and said, we need to bring this to our teams. Like, we need to bring this home. And so that's what our goal is tonight. And tonight, it's all about the 4 cores of credibility. This is actually a 2-part workshop that we're going to do. But tonight, we're talking about the 4 cores of credibility. All right. So credibility, like I said, boils down to 2 questions. First, do I trust myself? Okay. And second, am I someone that others can trust? And Covey talks about 4 cores that are the key to building credibility. We're going to be talking about integrity, intent, capabilities, and results tonight. And integrity and intent are character cores, as they like to say, where that's more of an internal trust with yourself, a relationship of trust with yourself. And then we're going to talk about capabilities and results, which are competency cores, things that you kind of learn to do, you're disciplined to do, and they're the actions and the steps that you take to create the trust and the credibility with the people on the outside, which would be, in our business, it'd be our customers, our coaches, our success partners, all the people that we work with on the outside. All right. So this diagram, I loved it because it kind of shows you what the roots of your credibility are. And it starts with you. It starts with your character, who you are, like I said, your integrity and your intent. And then it starts to grow into your capabilities and your results and the things that you're able to learn and grow into. So I'm just going to kick it off with integrity to start. So you guys get your notepads and pen out, because now here, as she talks about integrity, you're going to also be rating yourselves 1 through 10. So take it away, Audrey.
Okay. Hey, guys. So like Monica said, it starts with us and the way we feel about ourselves, because that goes into the relationships that we build with our challengers and with our team. So integrity is deep honesty and truthfulness. It is who we really are, and it includes congruence, humility, and courage, which I'm about to get into. But here's the thing, guys. When you come into this business, we tell you that you have to lead yourself. You have to work harder than anybody on your team, which means that you really have to work on yourself. It's like that tree that Monica presented in the previous slide. It starts with your roots, your foundation. How are you growing? How hard are you working on yourself? Because you can't present to be one thing when you're not actually that. When we look through social media, we're really good about getting vibes about people, right? There's people that we automatically trust off the bat. Like, I like them. I like their vibe, but then there's other people, you can't put your finger on it, but you feel like you can't trust them. And if you think about it, like in this business, people are picking vibes up about us all the time. And if you want to make sure that you're in this business for the long term, integrity has to start with you. And we're all on a journey. I know that right now, I know there are a lot of things that I need to work on for myself. That's why it's the roots of this business. That's why we want you to rate yourself on how you're going to do on the following things that I'm going to talk about. Because I want you to think about it. And I want you to ask yourself, okay, how can I change? How can I do better? Because unless you trust yourself and you actually align everything that you think internally to everything that you express and you talk to people about, your business isn't going to grow. Your challengers aren't going to trust you. Well, first of all, people aren't going to get those good vibes about you as someone that they want to be in business with. Your challengers aren't going to trust you. They're not going to trust you to guide them on their journey. And your team isn't going to trust you to help them grow and to help them grow as people. So the first point is congruence, and it's living in harmony with your deepest values and beliefs. You're walking your talk. So when we talk about the 4 vital behaviors, if people come to your page, can they see every day that you're a fitness coach? Can they see that you're being this product of the product? And I think that congruence goes so well with our vital behaviors, because unless you're being a product of the product, it's not about perfection, but it's about actually doing what you said you were going to do. The things that you post about, the things that you talk about, the things you teach your challengers, the things you teach your team, do you believe them? Are you following them? The next point is humility. And that's to stand firmly in your principles, especially in the face of opposition. You are more concerned with doing what is right than being right. And there's going to be a lot of instances where you aren't going to get along with, especially on the level of leadership, with someone on your team. You're going to butt heads with coaches on your team or with your upline or somebody else. And you really have to ask yourself, like, am I taking a step back and being more concerned about doing what's right and looking at a situation from a place of, I want to learn, as opposed to, well, this is what I believe and people have to accept me the way I am. We tell you that you have to be coachable, and that's part of being an integral person. The last point is courage. When you act accordingly to your principles, you do the right thing, especially when it's hard. And there's going to be so many instances of this in your business. I had a situation, I think it was yesterday, one of my coaches, she asked me a question and there was 2 responses I could have given her. I could have given her the answer that benefited me, or I could have given her the answer that I knew really benefited her. And in that case, I had to have integrity and have the courage to tell her, listen, you need to do this. And I was going to lose out, but she was going to grow. And at the end of the day, that's what I want. And those are the roots of your business. That's how you build something solid. So how are you guys rating yourself on these 3 things? On congruence, making sure that who you say you are is actually who you are. On your humility, how firmly you stand in your values and your beliefs. And your courage to go through with them when things are hard. Let's hear from you guys. Which of these sticks out to you? Which do you struggle with? Do you see yourself struggling? I know, I'll be honest with you. In terms of just the fitness side of the business, I struggled for a while until I really got into the discipline of working out every day. Because I had moments in my life that I'd struggle. I gained back weight and I would kind of hide in my business. But if I was going to go out there and be this fitness coach to help guide other people, I had to be congruent. I had to have humility to be vulnerable. And I had to have the courage to be honest.
I have something to say. Hi guys, it's Jasmine. I think congruence, and sorry, Spanish accent, is really, really important. What I try to teach my downline coaches is that you can't ask someone to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. You have to set the example. And that's why you have to work harder. If you're telling someone to do something, you have to do it too. And you have to show up every single day to that. So I think that's very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because nobody's going to trust you. That's what we want. We want this trust. Like, what wakes me up in the morning every day is to do my early morning workout is like, I have to be an example. If I don't live this myself, no one's going to follow me.
Absolutely. I hope you guys are writing down. So for congruency, humility, and courage, rate yourself 1 to 10 and be honest with yourselves, guys. It's okay. And I forgot to mention this when we first started. When we go through these 4 core behaviors, you're going to notice, because Audrey and I noticed this when we did it and we were asked at the end, some of them will be your strengths. Some of them will come very easy to you. And some of them will be difficult for you. They're the thing that you have to work on. And that's what we really want to pinpoint tonight. What are the things that you're good at, which is great, right? So you recognize that you can leverage these things when it comes to your business. But what are the things that you need to work on? Because these 4 cores of credibility are equally important. So tonight, as you rate yourselves, be honest. And it's okay. It's okay to be honest with yourselves. If you want to share, great. Thank you for sharing, Jasmine. Really appreciate that. But we really want you guys to dig in deep and be honest with yourself for your business, for you. All right. So rate yourselves on those three: congruence, right? Congruence, humility,
humility, and courage.
And I'm not gonna lie, I had to look up congruence, and it's basically being in harmony with who you say you are.
It's like that meme that says, "Practice what you post."
There you go.
And then have the humility to know where you're lacking. I remember being at leadership and looking over at Monica and just saying, like, I suck.
Oh, that's what I need to work on.
Yeah.
Ready for the next one, Audrey?
Let's go.
All right.
Okay, guys. So integrity accelerators. None of us is where we need to be. And that's a good thing, because when you see that space that you have to grow, those are things that you're going to work on. And as you work on those things, you're just going to grow stronger as a leader. The first thing is make and keep commitments to yourself. Treat your commitments to yourself as you would treat commitments to important people in your life. It's kind of like what we always say about the business. Like, you show up to your job every day and you have a boss. Do that for yourself. Make those commitments, repeat those commitments. Number 2, stand for something. Write a mission statement or a personal credo or expression of what you stand for and live by it. I have a personal mission statement. And whenever I feel off course, I actually have it written out on my blackboard. Whenever I feel off course, I remind myself that that's who I am. And it just recenters me back to where I need to be. The last one, guys, is be open. Exercise humility, be vulnerable, challenge the way you see the world. Always take a step back. Whenever you come into some kind of conflict with someone on your team or your challenger, take a step back and ask yourself, like, what does it feel like from their perspective? Because some conflicts ever really are just a difference of perspective, and they can be hashed out if you just learn to, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Are your own viewpoints totally accurate and complete? Do you seriously consider other people's viewpoints? The more you do this, the better of a leader you're going to be.
All right. So next up we have intent. And this is still falling under the category of self-reflection, self-trust, okay? This is working on yourself before you start to help others, because what happens inside comes out, and that's how you can't pour from an empty cup, as they say. So intent is knowing what your agenda is. The second core, intent springs from our character. It's part of our value system. It's how we know how we should act. And so the way that Franklin Covey breaks it down is into 3 things. The first one is motive. Like, why do we do what we do? The best motive in building trust is genuinely caring about people. And we know this about our business. Our business thrives off of relationships, helping people. It may start at the physical level, right? Getting them to move, sweat, get a workout in, release those endorphins. But we slowly start working on their mind as well. We help them create a powerful mindset so that they can conquer the things they want. And we know, because we've already gone through this, right? Our testimony is what we built our business on, because we did it for ourselves, like Audrey just talked about. We know that when we start working on our body and we start working on our minds, all of a sudden it trickles into all areas of our life, right? We're a better mother, we're a better wife, we're a better friend, we're a better brother, sister. And so that is where your agenda should lie. It should lie in really genuinely caring about people. Once you know what your agenda is, that's going to stem from, obviously, our motives. We know what we're going after. The bench agenda is usually seeking what is good for others, but at the end of the day, this is also business. You are not selfish by having a personal agenda in this as well, right? We're building a business here. So Franklin Covey says that the important thing is to understand that your agenda must be something that is mutually beneficial to everyone involved. You're getting what you want, they're getting what they want, and you're building a relationship that is really stemming from caring about this person and wanting to help them. And I just love this because it's exactly what our business is all about. And then the third one, when it comes to intent, is your behavior. Now, you know what your motives are. It comes from a good place. You want to help people. You know what your agenda is. You know what you want to do to help them and how you're going to do that. But are you actually putting these things into play? is your behavior backing up your motive and your agenda? Because if not, it's just empty promises. And your behavior is putting your agenda into practice. And it is what we do based upon what we intended and we said that we were going to actively do. So as you can see, the first, integrity, intent, they work hand in hand. It's knowing what you want and making sure that you're carrying that out. So let's rate ourselves on intent. The first is motive. Do you know what your motives are in this business? Do you have them clear? Are you clearly going out there and helping your challengers at the challenge group level? Are you clearly, is your agenda written out? Like, how are you going to help them? How is it that you're going to do this? Okay? And is your behavior matching all the things that you want? Are you actively going out there and doing the things that you said you were going to do or that you know needs to get done within your business? So motive, rate yourself 1 to 10. Your agenda and your behavior. And as you guys rate yourselves, I'm also going to talk about, which I love that they pointed this out, when they talked about motives. Ask yourself the 5 whys. If there's, whatever it is that's happening in your business. So for example, a challenger joins our challenge group. To get down to the real motive of why you want this person to succeed, you're going to ask yourself why 5 times. So 1, why do I want this person to join my challenge group? Well, because I want to help them get healthy and fit. Well, why do I want them to get healthy and fit? Because I want them to feel empowered. Well, why do I want them to feel empowered? Because I want them to make this a lifelong journey. Well, why do I want them to make a lifelong journey? Because eventually I'd love to have them a part of my team as a coach. And why would I want them a part of my team as a coach? Because I know that they can impact the next life. So ask yourself the whys. And it's okay. It's okay to have a personal gain within your motives, but understand that it's always coming from a place of wanting to help people, not just a success club point that you want to earn, not just a rank advancement that you want to hit, not just an elite point that you want to see build up. So rate yourselves on motive, agenda, and behavior. And if there's anybody that wants to share on that, I'd love to hear it. And your thoughts on this category. And since I'm sharing the screen, I can't see everybody's face. I can only see 3 people. So is anybody that wants to share?
I definitely think intent is an interesting one with the 5 whys, because we all go into that area of, am I looking for numbers with Success Club, or am I looking to actually help people? And that's a question that we have to ask ourselves every single day, especially as it gets towards the end of the month. And it's like crunch time, and did we meet our goals?
I think it has to always be a healthy balance in remaining true to what your goals are, okay? Because this is a business where we go out and help people, and if you aren't helping anyone, then you're not getting the job done. So Success Club points are essential, right? Bringing new business into our organization and bringing in new people that we're helping month to month is important. But it's also understanding that you can't just look at people as points either. And that's where the building of relationships, that constant, well that you're pumping, going out there and meeting people, talking to people, being interested in people, and not just worried about being an interesting person, but be just interested in others, comes into play. And again, it just goes back to your motives.
And integrity.
And your intent.
On top of integrity.
Love that.
Hi guys, this is Jen.
Hey Jen.
I'm really, the word motive freaks me out a little bit, and I don't even know why. But
why?
I don't even know. I think it's just, it's like, what's your motive? What is your why? Why are you doing this? And I think that's what I am scared to be asked when I am reaching out and inviting people, because I don't want them to think that I have an interior motive. Like, I just want to help people. But then with that said, I am a Ruby, and like, I want and I need to hit Success Club points. Like, if I don't hit 10 Success Club points, I'm ripping my hair out of my head before the 20th of the month. So I don't know.
Well, let me ask you a question. And Audrey, I know you have something to say, but I just want to make you bring something to your attention. A doctor, a nurse, a police officer, a firefighter, all these people help people, right? They're essential in our lives. We need them. they help people, but they get paid for it. You do not. That's why, he covers it perfectly. Your motives, there can be some personal motives within what you do, and it's okay to earn for what we do. It's okay to build a business on helping people, but it's making sure that the heart is still in what you're doing, and you're not just looking at a person as a point and then walking away and say, oh, you're done, moving on, and factory. And so I think a lot of it is releasing that I guess guilt that you're earning for what you're doing, because you earned it. And your job, you have a job to do. Once you sign someone as a coach, you have to help them, obviously mentor them in their business and help them grow. And same thing when it comes to your challenge groups. When you hit your Success Club, goals, and you're bringing in new customers to your business, there's still responsibility. The responsibility begins with the sale of that challenge pack. So I think it's releasing the idea that, you're earning for it. It's okay. There can be a mutual benefit for both parties. In fact, that's a healthy way. And I don't know what you were going to say, Audrey. Do you want to step in?
It goes back to congruence. Obviously, you're feeling some kind of conflict in between. You do want to earn money. You are a competitive person, but you really do want to help people. So you need to find some resolution in that. And I think that Monica and I could probably relate to this because we're both rubies. And I had a conversation with Kim Carver about this. And he said, you have to own that you're a ruby. There's no shame in it. It's the way God created you. You're a competitive person, and that's one of your strengths, which we'll talk about in one of the next slides. But work within yourself, do those 5 whys, see what's the inner conflict that you have, and just own your personality, because then you are that ambitious and driven in helping people and in building your business and in helping other people create financial freedom for themselves.
Amen, sister.
Love it. All right. So with that being said, once you've got your ratings, obviously, like we say, we can always, if we're not in a constant state of growth, we're in a state of decay. What are ways that you can accelerate your intent? The first one is examine your motives, which we were just talking about. Sit down and look at them and appreciate them for what they are. If your motives, like I said, ask yourself the 5 whys. Once you get close to the real intent, ask yourself, am I motivated only by self, or is this for the interest of all? And that's where you're going to really get down to what your mission is, basically. Examine your motives and be okay with what you discover when you ask yourself the 5 whys. 2, choose abundance. Ask yourself, do I believe there are enough rewards, credit, recognition, benefit for everyone, for everyone's interested, so that everybody's served in what I'm doing? So are you out there, when you're getting what you want, are you making sure that others are getting what they want too, and their satisfaction, and constantly caring about your agenda being played out the way that you want your business, what your business to look like? 3, declare your intent. Choose the intent that you will serve everyone best, including yourself. State it, signal it, clarify it, and discuss it, which means that when you know what your motives are, when you know what your agendas are, and you're actively out there doing these behaviors, are you being clear about it? Are you being clear about it with your team? When you tell your team, well, I want to be an elite team this year, or I want us to, to hit premier, or if I want to be an all-star, are you clear on your reasons why? And are you out there voicing? You say you want to help people. Are you voicing why you want to help people? We did a really great training the other day with our upline, Christina Delgado, when we talked about leading your business with the why instead of the what. Instead of going out there and telling what we do as coaches, are you leading with your why, your vision of what you want to do, the impact that you want to make? And these are ways that you can accelerate your intent by making it crystal clear, not just to yourself what your motives are, but to your audience, to the people that are following you, to your team, and even to your challengers. At the challenge group level, I do it all the time with my challenge groups. Day 1, I explain to them what I envision for them. I tell them all the time, I envision for you not to be dependent on me. I want you to be an independent person that makes health and fitness their lifestyle forever. And you do it in a way where you don't have to wait for a trainer. You don't have to wait for a box of food to arrive. You don't have to wait, on anyone but yourself. You are in full control. And I state early on what I want it to look like for them at the end of our time together and in our challenge group. And so if you're constantly clear about what it is that you want to create, then it will come into fruition and everybody will be on the same page that you're working with. So I hope that makes sense.
Now, let's talk about capabilities. And over here, we start getting into the upper part of the tree, your competence levels as a leader. And you definitely are a leader, even if you don't have a big team yet. There's lots of eyes on you. And like John C. Maxwell says, leadership is influence. So I like to say that I'm a confidence booster. And what is confidence exactly? Confidence comes from two places. Number one, it's from developing the skill set that you need in order to do the task that you have in front of you. And two, just simply putting those skills to work. That's how you become confident. Because as you keep repeating them, you get better, you know what you're doing, and all of a sudden it's not that difficult anymore. It's kind of like when you were learning to drive at first, when you first got in there, it's like scary, like you got to remember to signal, you got to do this, you got to do that. And then after a while, it's like you drive to your house and you don't even remember how you got there. So capabilities. Your job as a leader is to inspire that confidence in other people, but the speed of the leader, the speed of the pack. So the things that you have to rate yourself on primarily are your talents. Take a good look at yourself. You know, again, this is all like self-reflection. What are your talents? What are you good at? And a lot of times we're so used to saying the things that we're not good at. This is your point to ask yourself, you know, am I a good listener? Do I have great people skills? Things like that. Do I inspire people? Am I a great public speaker? What do you love to do? And this is such a topic close to my heart because Monica and I actually, before we knew each other, our first summit was with John C. Maxwell as a keynote speaker. And that year he spoke to us about our strengths. And he says, in order to be great, you know, nobody goes to, for example, an average restaurant. Nobody says, you know, tell me what's an average restaurant I could go to. Everyone's always says, tell me a great restaurant I could go to. In order to be great, you work on your strengths. Because if you work on your weaknesses, you're just going to be average. So pick what you already love to do, what people tell you that you're great at. Take those things and work with them. And that's what makes you unique. That's why people are attracted to you. Number two, attitudes. What is your attitude like? Something I love to say is that I never believe that there's such thing as like, I'm not a morning person. I just think that that's your excuse to be, you know, a jerk in the morning. So have the same approach with your business and your challengers. What's your attitude? Because the chances are that your attitude about things, whether you're optimistic and you see everything as how I'm going to do this, your team and the people that follow you are going to take suit. But if your attitude just is kind of down in the dumps, it's going to reflect into everyone in your team. It's going to like just, you know, put a lid on everybody's growth on your team. Number three, your skills. Ask yourself, are you always working on your skills? And I know Monica and I get approached all the time with people that just say things like, oh, you're just so good at that. How do you do that? You're just so great. As if we didn't work on it. As if we were just born, we'd signed up to the business and all of a sudden it's like, oh, look, great. I'm just great at being a coach. I'm just great at getting people to sign up in my challenge group, sign up to your team. No, that's something that you work on. So are you building your skill sets every day? 4, knowledge. This is why personal development is so important. What are you learning? Are you looking out there at your market, at your atmosphere and asking yourself, okay, what do I need to improve on? What should I know more about in order to become a better leader? 5, your style. There's a style to the way you do things. There's a style to how you speak to people. Does your style make it easier for people to approach you, easier for people to learn from you? Or do you kind of, you know, give people a wrong vibe? Ask yourselves that. How do you guys think that you do with your capabilities? Are you working on your strengths? Are you constantly learning? Have you identified the things that you need to know better, the skills that you need to improve, and working on them to become better?
I love it. That's like PD on fire. That entire section is PD.
Yeah.
It's growing yourself. Are you in a state of growth or are you in a state of decay?
Mm-hmm. Because there's no just staying the same. It's either you're working on yourself and you're improving, or you're declining, because as you stay the same, everybody's doing better. Everybody's increasing and everyone's doing more. So how can you accelerate your capabilities? Number one, run with your strengths. Again, what are they? Like, I love public speaking. I love marketing. I love putting things like that out there. Those are my natural talents. And it's crazy because when Monica and I started working together, she's like, you need more pictures of food. And I'm like, well, that's one of my weaknesses, because whenever I cook something, it looks really ugly. That is not one of my strengths. But then I would tell her, you need to write a post like this. And she was like, I'm not very good at that. And she never did any of the posts that I suggested her to. So know what your strengths are and how they work for your business, and work with those. Number two, keep yourself relevant.
What is that? Oh, you got the camera. Where did you get this?
Hello?
It's a happy.
Sorry, babe. Sorry.
It's a happy.
Keep yourself relevant. Part of this is knowing what's going on in your market. You have to sometimes follow some of the top coaches to see what they're doing, what they're not doing. Find your style and run with it. Take your strengths and match it to the opportunities that you have in front of yourself. So if I love public speaking, I should really be going live a lot more often. And I just told you guys something that I need to work on as a leader. So if Jake, I just saw in the chat, put that he loves to be creative. How can you use that and marry it to your business? Number three, know where you're going. You have to know exactly what your contribution is to your team and to your challengers. And that's okay if you don't know it right now, because I certainly didn't know it 2 years ago or even last year. But as you keep going and you keep working on yourself and developing yourself, you get better. You get better, and it becomes easier and it becomes clearer. But it has to be something that, like Monica said, you are intentional about.
Absolutely. All right, guys, the last core: results, because they matter. And you guys know, if you're on Diesel Nation, that it is this year's mantra. It's our mission statement. Results matter. And we're getting back, I think, network-wide, getting down to really the core of this business being a product of the product. And so let's talk about that, not just when it comes to the fitness nutrition, but also in business. Results matter, and they matter enormously to your credibility. People evaluate what you do. And here's the part where I may hurt some feelings, but it's the absolute truth. People don't trust people who don't deliver results, who don't do what they're telling people to do. Okay? Results are deliverables. They're what you contribute to the company, to your business, to your challenge group, to whatever you're doing. You can't hide your results. If they aren't there, they aren't there. And it's very transparent. And so I feel like this is where the trust really, really comes in, because people are going to look at what you've done in the past. They're going to look at what you're doing presently. And they're also looking, and here's another key, they're looking at what your future is. And all these things are very clear with what your actions are day to day. So let's talk about these results. There are 3 areas of results people look at to judge you. Like I said, the first is your past, your reputation, your track record, the things that you have been saying all along that you're doing, whether it's a program that you started from start to finish, or you just jumped around and never really came out with before and afters. People are paying attention. Whether it's your monthly success club, goal that you said you were going to hit, and when you got to the end, you didn't even get close. Like, all these kinds of things are what's building your reputation with the people that are watching you, whether it's your team or your challengers. Your current performance, what are you producing right now? What are you doing right now? Are you staying true to the things that you said you were going to do? And then your, like I said, anticipated performance. When you're talking about all the things that you want out of your business, when you're talking about the goals that you have set for yourself, is the vision clear enough that people can see what you see? And all these results lie in your credibility. And I think it's the foundation of our business. It's the trust that we start to build by actively getting out there in the trenches with the people that we're working with, which is just as important as giving out the words of what we want to do. So rate yourselves right now. And this might be hard for some of you guys on your past performances, your current performances, and your anticipated performances. I think someone's unmuted with a little sicky baby. You can mute yourselves. Now, if you're looking at yourself right now and you're rating yourself on your past performance and you're saying, well, I said I was going to do a lot of things and I didn't quite get it. Life got in the way, or I meant to. I had all great intentions, right? I had the intention to do it. Just know that what you're doing today is you're building your it's going to soon to be your past. So if right now your past isn't strong, you get to work on that right now. You get to fix that right now. So don't be so hard on yourself, but be honest with yourself. What are you doing right now? Is it going to serve you in the future? Is it going to serve what your purpose is, what your mission is, what your motives are? So rate yourselves on your past performance, current performance, and anticipated performance. And then now, how can we accelerate this? Well, we take responsibility. We take responsibility. We're honest with ourselves. We kind of get ourselves into a results mindset versus just activity, right? So I see so many times where coaches, they say, oh, well, I work out every day. I drink my shake every day. You know, I try my best to eat right. I'm just taking it day by day and hoping that the results come together, versus having a results mindset and working, working like reverse engineering what your goals are and saying, okay, well, this is where I'm going to be. And I'm going to make this result happen. I'm going to lose these 20 pounds and I'm going to give myself 3 months to do it or 6 months to do it, and reverse engineering so that goal, we have a mindset of results, and that goal is crushed no matter what. Same thing with Success Club. Saying, okay, I'm going to hit Success Club this month. I'm going to make it happen. It's not a matter of, well, I'm going to do my power every hour, every day, and pray and hope that it all comes to fruition. It's reverse engineering and making yourself have a mindset of results driven and not just activity driven. We have to be CEOs of our business, right? We like to call ourselves CEOs, business owners. Well, we need to own it. If you're looking at your business and you're seeing that what you're doing, the activities you're doing are not producing results, then you got to switch it up. You got to know for yourself, this is not working for me. I need to figure out a way that's going to produce results and get me closer to the goals that I want to crush. I'm not going to just continuously do things that are not really serving me and not serving my purpose. And then later on, throw my hands up and say, well, I did everything I thought I was supposed to do. Like every day I was busy. Every day I worked my business. Every day I posted. You told me to show up every day and I did. It's owning it and getting into a results mindset and then reverse engineering it so that you make sure that you hit your goals and you make them non-negotiable. 2 is expect to win. Go into the mindset of, if you are ready in your head thinking about all the reasons you're going to fail, all the reasons why it's not going to happen for you, all the reasons why you are not capable of doing something, you are already shooting yourself in the foot before you've even gotten started. Change your mindset into one that you openly share with everyone what it is you want. And it goes back to that vision. It goes back to getting out there and sharing, your intent and your motives. And you see how all these things kind of tie in together? Because when you do, you're creating those vibrations for yourself. You're creating that mindset of, this is what I'm going to do. I expect myself to win in this arena. And you're not giving yourself leeway or excuses on why you cannot do them. All right. And 3 is finish strong. Drop the culture of quitting, guys. And I think it comes when people say, well, and I love when coaches come and tell me, they just signed up to become a coach. They're just getting started and say, well, let's see what I can do with this. I'm going to give it a shot. And I correct them right there. And I say, you're already going into this, giving yourself a backdoor, and just in case it doesn't work out, I gave it my best. Go in and come in with a culture of of I'm going to win. I'm not a victim. I am here to create something for myself. I'm here to drop the culture of quitting, and I'm here to create a culture of winning, where we come in and we say, this is what I want for myself. This is what I deserve for myself. Whether it's losing, if you're a coach right now and you're still working on your journey, say, I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be at my goal weight. I deserve to help others do the same thing and create a business out of it. Then that's exactly what you do. And that's what you're going to pay forward to your team and pay forward to everybody that you come into contact with. But you already come in with a mentality of, it's kind of like going into a marriage saying, well, if you know, it doesn't work out, there's always divorce, you know, you're already setting yourself up for failure. And that's what we want to knock out. We want to make sure that we are finishing strong and that we have the mentality and we create the culture of winning versus quitting and giving yourself a back door. So that is the accelerators for results. So let me get out of this screen share real quick, because now we've gone through all four. We've gone through all four cores of credibility: integrity, intent, capabilities, and results. So I want you guys now to look at your ratings and determine for yourself, because I remember Audrey and I, like I said, we sat there together and we kind of looked at each other and said, okay, I know exactly what my biggest weakness is. And I know what my biggest strengths are. So I want to kind of hear from you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and, I can't, sorry.
And to be honest, guys, like this reminds me of your challenge groups where you take those before pictures and you don't want to look, you don't want to weigh yourself, but it's sobering. The only way to know where you need to grow is to take an honest look at yourself so that you can use that as fuel to change and move forward. Like when we were writing this out, I was looking at things again, like, I need to work on that. I need to work on that. And that's a characteristic of a great leader. Don't think that you have to be perfect right now. If you know the areas in which you have to change, it makes you a good leader to have the humility and the courage to change.
Absolutely. So take a look, and if there's anyone brave enough to share with us where they recognize as their biggest strength and the one thing that's hardest for them, their biggest weakness when it comes to these four cores of credibility.
Here, Monica, I'll tell you mine.
Go for it.
All right. So my biggest strength is capabilities, and my weakness is results.
Funny. Okay, so explain that to us. What do you think is the hardest part for you when it comes to getting the results?
I think I'm half and half, but Audrey knows this. I suck when it comes to food. So the only reason why a lot of people, I believe me is because I'm an instructor, so I'm constantly moving and burning. But when it comes to eating, I am a big component of sweets, so it's hard to let go. So my eating is not on point. So you will see results, like I just finished the 90-day for Coeur d'Ivoire, and I didn't post my 90-day pictures because I slacked off. So that's why that's one of my biggest
weaknesses. That's
weakness.
A big deal. See, it's kind of like what we were talking about, where that's results driven, where people, you stated something that you were going to start and you were going to finish, and then it didn't happen.
Yes.
And that goes against credibility. So thank you for being honest about that. I think that, and Audrey touched on this, it's sometimes looking at what we say we're not good at, and instead of just using an excuse or a crutch, deciding that we're going to get good at it. Like Audrey did. I made her. I don't know if you guys have seen her new
Exactly. I know. I started posting my food. I'm like, maybe I'll do better if I start posting what I'm eating, because then I'll choose the right things instead of the wrong things.
And then what's the root of that? It goes back to the first slide. You know, your integrity. Are you walking the walk walking the talk as a coach?
Half and half. I gave myself a 6 on that one, and on results, I gave myself a 5. So it's right there.
Mm-hmm. So that's where you need to do the work.
And it's funny because you said that your biggest strength was your capabilities. I think you know that you can do it. Your attitude is in the right place. You know what your skills are. You know what you're good at. It's a matter of
doing it.
Yes.
Exactly. It's funny because I just ordered on Amazon a decal for my wall that says execute.
Execute. Yeah. And it's kind of like the intent slide where it talks about it's great that you know your motives. It's great you know what you want to accomplish and what you want to do. But unless your behaviors are in line with your motive and your agenda, it's almost like a goal without a deadline, right?
Exactly.
That never becomes reality.
I got this. I got this.
Love it. Thank you so much for being so honest. Is there anyone that wants to share as well?
I'll share
Go.
because this is like gut check time. So in terms of, yeah, tell me about it. In terms of, I think I rated myself highest with my integrity, just because I think I'm really truly a pro inside out and in actions. And you know, the intent and the motives are all there. I kind of got scared, and I'll be really honest, with capabilities. I didn't even rate myself. That actually says more to me on that, because I doubt myself, because I think that I probably am not worthy, but I'm working on that, because this year I'm doing a lot more personal development to just kind of work on that. And Audrey knows that too. And in terms of results, like I rated myself like a 5 to 6, although I think my results are probably better, but I'm hard on myself. And that's partly because, you know, I question kind of where I am to where I could be, those capabilities. So I need to work on that.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for being honest. I know that's hard. It's not easy sometimes to get real with yourself. Is there anyone? Go Sue. Go Sue.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Well, I got to tell you, whoever just spoke, I couldn't see your name lit up, but I didn't rate myself anything on capabilities either. And I definitely know that when it comes to anticipated results, like what I foresee coming, I know 100% people see things in me that I'm like, what? Me? What? Really? And I know I'm very courageous and my integrity is like 150% there. I'm constantly looking over my motives, my behaviors. Really, I value very high moral and ethical components of most every part of my life. I want to be that person that people trust. And I believe that people do trust me because I do continue to show up. But looking ahead, when somebody's like, no, Sue, you got this. And I'm like, really? Like, there's a lot of self-doubt. And I'm like shaking talking about it because people, I think, see me as so courageous and I just keep doing and doing and doing and doing. But I still am not like standing tall enough to say like I'm doing it because I want to do it. I'm doing it because somebody believes that I can do it. So I'm doing it because they believe that I believe, but I still haven't believed yet. I don't know if that even is that like, does anyone else, like, am I alone here? Because it's so funny. You know, the results, the weight came off very quickly, very easily. I stuck to things. I still do. I have big goals, but I haven't. And I was like typing, declare your goals. And I don't know. I want other people to declare them for me. Like, tell me what to do. I'm still at that point where I want you to tell me, like, just tell me and I'll do it. So declaring and anticipating my results, like, you know, saying I am elite. Yeah, like I believe that you believe it, but I don't believe it yet. But I'm getting there. But it's a constant, you know, revolving door in my head and in my brain.
I love that, Sue. And we've talked about that a lot. Thank you for sharing about that. I think a lot of us, I don't know, Audrey, do you want to share yours? Because it's funny, because a lot of, you know, we're teaching this, right? We're teaching this and we decided to do this virtual workshop. But like Audrey says, as we were going through this for ourselves, we're like, ooh, I need to work on that. Or, ooh, this is not my strength. This is my weakness. And so
I think like for the past year, last year, to be honest with you guys, developing my integrity has been the hardest thing for me, because while I would do the 4 vital behaviors every day, I wasn't that great at them. So for me, last year was a year of discipline and making sure that I actually did everything I was telling my team and my challengers to do every single day, no matter what. Now it's more about my capabilities, And like I just said, I need to be going live more often. I love public speaking. I need to be doing more of it. And Monica and I actually talked about that today, and we're going to work on it. But for me right now, it's my capabilities. I need to just go out there and start doing the things that I know I'm good at.
And I remember looking at you, and for me, my weakness back when we heard this at leadership, I had a rough 2016, and I realized my biggest weakness was in my intent. There came a point, I mean, obviously on the fitness level, I cared about, helping people lose weight and the fitness and all that, because that always came easy to me. My passion in this business is the fitness, and I love that. But when it came to building the business, I started finding myself running on empty because I felt so drained with my own business and my own success, right? So I was so revolved around, hitting my goals and hitting what I was doing. And I just couldn't see past myself for a while. And I got so caught up in that. And it took me taking a step back and looking at and realizing and remembering that this business really thrives on helping the next person. And then in turn, it turns into helping you. And so I think my biggest weakness last year was learning to balance it all. Finding that balance between mutual beneficiaries where the person I'm helping benefits and has their reasons for being here, and I have mine. And I learned to see past myself for a while there, and it just opened so many doors, made things so much better when it came to my business. And today it's a whole different story. I think today I would say the same thing as Audrey. Today it's a little bit more capabilities. Now I know what's up. It's a matter of getting out there and working on the strengths and building on them, and continuing to grow in the areas that I know that I'm really good at, and leveraging them. So I think the same. And my strength has always been in this business, the results. If there's one thing I do show up every day when it comes to the results.
Determined to win.
Absolutely. That's the red.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to be brave enough to share? Just unmute yourself.
Okay, I'll speak.
Go.
Okay, so I'm really scared to talk right now, but I would say half on half with the weakness. I would say results and also intent. Everything you just said, totally, I feel the same. I feel like I'm constantly thinking about myself and my goals and trying to, be successful. And until recently, when I started questioning myself, like, how do you feel when you actually do help someone? And then I started getting like positive feedback from that. I started to see, like my mind shift a little bit, but I definitely know that I have to work on that, and also results. So my goal has always been to build muscle, and, I see it happening, but I don't eat right. I don't. I just feel like, like I'm thin, and I'll just build muscle by working out and lifting weights, and I'm going to get there eventually. But by not following a meal plan and, emotionally eating, which I've been struggling with a lot lately, I'm not going to get there. So I'm not walking the talk that I'm, sharing on social media constantly. Yeah. Wait, and what was my strength? I forgot what I said. Oh, capability, I would say, because I feel like I know what I'm capable of. And, I really do believe that I'm capable of a lot of things, but it's just those things that are holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Thank you for being honest. Is this helpful to you guys? Was it as eye-opening? I mean, some of it hurts. You're like, ugh, got to work on this, face the fears, face the things that we know we're not doing.
But it's crazy because, Monica and I have been coaches for a while now. We have our experience of like just seeing a coach and kind of just knowing already if they're successful or not, because we just get that vibe. Like, are they someone that you can trust? And I know that like our businesses are where they are right now because we've gotten better at these things. We've worked at establishing trust so that when someone comes to us, they trust us, they've seen a track record of results, and we're constantly working on ourselves. A lot of times what's holding you back in your business is that you're not working on these things, and other people sense that from you. Whether you think that you're, posting a mean game, people know. People know.
It's true. Doesn't that happen to you guys that when you're on it and you're thriving in your business, but somehow everything's like coming your way and you're like, yeah. But when you're faking it, it's nothing. It's like a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in vibrations for sure.
Yep.
Hey, Monica, it's Debbie Nelson. I have to be brave enough to share because that's one of my weaknesses. I think I'm capable of doing this business, and I really work hard at it. I'm trying very hard. I feel like I've been accelerating at warp speed, and I'm trying to find a balance with that. So that's the most difficult part for me. I've got the results. I'm working hard on those and in that journey, but sometimes I doubt myself. So I'm really trying to focus on fun right now to make that stop.
I didn't catch that part. Is there an echo? Is it me?
There's an echo, but I can't correct it.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a really bad echo. Is anybody else
Is
hearing
it better now?
Can you hear me now, or is it still echoing?
Perfect. Now it's perfect. I think I figured it out. Go for it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. What I was saying was that I feel like I'm capable of doing the business. I don't doubt my ability to do it. What I doubt is myself sometimes. So I'm really working on personal development to try to grow that. I struggle with that sometimes because I'm a perfectionist, first of all. So I wanted the results to come like yesterday. Although I had great results, I'm still working on that journey, and those results for me felt like they came fast. But I still doubt myself, and that's what I'm trying to let go of and believe that I can believe in myself to move forward. Sue is great at pumping me up, and I really appreciate that. And watching everybody else, that's one thing I can say that this team has definitely given me, is the strength to know that I can move forward, because when I watch everyone else and what you're doing, I'm so inspired, and I just can't wait to get where you guys are, is what I'm looking at. So thank you for the inspiration by many of you. So
Awesome, Deb. Thank you for that. I think you're a lot like I am, where I found myself not executing on a lot of things because I wanted it always to be perfect.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you haven't done anything and you haven't gotten any closer. And so my mentor, which also mentored Audrey, which is Kim Carver, he's like, just get it out, whatever it is. And by doing it, you're going to get better. By doing it, you're going to be one foot in front of the other. And you're going to see now what all the effort you're putting into it, Deb, and everything that you are working on, it's going to start to like all align and all connect. And then you'll see the bigger picture come together. But keep doing what you're doing. You're rocking it.
thank you.
And PD, you know how I feel about that.
Yep, I've got my PD right here.
That's my book. That's my book.
I mean, when executing things, I've always found that those things that I consider flaws or that I don't like are usually what people tell me that they love and that they relate to. At the end of the day, we're here to be relatable, not perfect.
Right. Progress over perfection is my goal.
Yes.
Thank you, Deb.
I have a quick question. It's Jen. I'm sorry. So I still have a lot of evolving that I need to do as a coach and just as a human being. So going over, I'm going back and forth, but going over everything that we spoke about, where else can I look to try to implement this? Like, do you guys suggest another training or a podcast or something I can listen to? I'm still trying to figure out what my strengths are.
I'm going to throw that to you, Audrey. You're PD queen.
John C. Maxwell. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
The leadership one, yeah. So there's two. There's irrefutable laws of growth and leadership. And depending, when it comes to PD, I always tell everyone, figure out what your biggest weakness is. If it's confidence, like I know I struggle with confidence. So while You Are a Badass may be a book that I've read literally 7 times, I will continue to read it because it feeds what I need when it comes to my confidence, and I pick it up at the right times for me. Figure out what it is that you're struggling most with, and then plug into that. If it's leadership, if it's working with others and whatnot, then pick up leadership. If it's growth, if it's internal confidence, then you want to go with 21 Irrefutable Laws of Growth. Both are good. I've read them both. And I love the workbooks too.
I'm going to speak, Maggie. So looking at everything that you guys have gone through, spoken, I'm having a hard time even grading myself. And I find myself many times, like Audrey, she posted this past week about, where you're going to be at a certain date. Are you going to be 2-star, 5-star, whatever it is. And I didn't even answer the question because I have a hard time, seeing, I know what I want, but to put it on paper, it's difficult because I don't want to fail. And I'm tearing. So it's like playing the lottery. I don't even play the lottery because I hate failure. So, I don't know. I don't know why I'm like that, but I don't know. And I'm doing PVs and the PD, the personal developments, and I go to like all the trainings, and I'm just like stuck.
Have you written your story, Maggie?
Where'd you go?
Probably because she was crying.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Audrey. I'd love to hear you have to say about that.
Honestly, have you written your story? Because there's something in your past that's not letting you move past that. There's something in your past that's making you feel like there's things that you can't achieve. And I think at the end of the day, and I've told Monica and I have discussed this, at the end of the day, this business is about pretty much the last person standing. You're going to be successful if you stick around and you do the hard work. And it's not easy for any of us, but if you know your why and what drives you, what makes you wake up every morning and keep going, that centers you, that grounds you, and you're going to find your confidence and your strength in that.
Absolutely. And we all have to understand that failure is only when you absolutely pick up and quit. But the small things that trip you up, the things that didn't go the way you planned, the goal that you didn't hit, whatever it is, those are just stepping stones. Everyone has to go through those things. I could give you a laundry list of goals that I wanted and it didn't hit or didn't happen, but a lot of them eventually happened. Just move the deadline. But I think that there's got to be a balance between being driven and a hard worker and a hustler. And there's a thin line between paralyzing yourself and your abilities because you're just afraid to fail. And you're just creating this wall of, it's kind of like what I talked about earlier, already giving yourself the excuse of you're not going to do it. So, it's not going to happen for you. So you're not going to even try. You're already shooting yourself in the foot before you even started the race. So
the thing is that I do everything. I post, I talk to people, I do what I have to do. It's just, there's something in me, like Audrey said, that and you know what? And I run businesses, like the actual retail businesses. But then this one here, it's, since it's more about,
yourself,
me putting myself out there and, being transparent and, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking that it's the way I was raised, and I don't know, but I'll just keep on striving and I'm not quitting.
You are a badass.
People that know me know that I'm not going to quit, but it's just frustrating, that I wanna know me. I want to know me, And maybe this, you know, speaking into this, to all of you, that's why I have to speak, because I need to put myself out there so I can think, and then maybe I can find something to add to my story. Anyway, sorry for the tears.
Have you read You Are a Badass?
Yes, I've read it 3 times.
Are you implementing it?
I try. I guess I have to read it again.
You need to implement. You also need to figure out your why. You need to write out your story and own it, because I guarantee there's something there that's making you feel like you don't deserve it. Because this business is probably 85% vision and knowing where you want to go, and then 15% doing the work. Because if you don't see it for yourself, if you don't have that vision, you're not going to achieve it. You're not going to put in the work that it takes to achieve it.
The thing is that with the motive, I'm having a hard time with that, because I find myself working for like to achieve other people's minds, but then my goals, I don't have. I have goals, but it's like I'm not really doing it for me. It's more, and I know that I need, as well as everyone, you know, I know I need to get paid. I know I want to travel. I want to do this, but I'm seeing other people's goals more bigger than my actual goals. I don't know.
Again, you need to write your story, because it sounds like you feel like you don't deserve it. I want you to give your story to Shirley.
There's an awesome line from You Are a Badass that always sticks out to me, and I'm going to curse because she curses. It says, "It's not your fault that you're fucked up, but it is your fault if you stay fucked up." And what that means is that everyone has things in their past, reasons why they are the way we are. And not all of them are they're not our fault, right? But where it becomes your fault is when you recognize that they're wrong and you don't fix them, and you don't take the time to fix them. That's where it is on you. When there comes a point in your life, you say, you know what? This may have not been great, but I need to fix this part of me. And so I think it's bridging between what happened and getting out of the victim mentality and saying, I'm going to fix this for myself. Because you can. We all can. We all have that ability. At one point in our lives, we have to get to that point where we fix whatever we don't want to go that way.
Yeah.
And that's owning it. And that's the same thing with your business. You said a minute ago, you're doing all the things that you think you're supposed to be doing, right? You're posting, you're reaching out, you're doing that. But there's got to be that moment of reflection where you stand back and you realize what's not working, and fixing and realigning and trying new things.
Getting results.
That's part of owning the business. That's switching from that employee mindset of, well, I sold this, like I have this product, I'm just going to sell it and that's it. Work's done, right? Versus saying, this is my business and I got to figure out what works. It's not just black and white like that.
Yeah, and not from a victim point of view, but as a doctor. Look at your business. Where do you need to improve, and improve it,
Thank you, Maggie. I'm sure from you sharing helps a whole lot of people on this call.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what it's about, guys. This is exactly what it's about. It's people helping people, being vulnerable, being real. And that's when you're really going to connect to people in your business. Nobody's looking at anybody to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody else that wants to share?
I actually want to hear from Irma.
You know, it's so funny. I just unmuted myself. You read me. I was like, oh, I'm about to unmute myself right now. Hi, y'all. I think I rated myself highest for integrity, because I believe strongly in integrity and being a person of your word and being the person that you say you are. I rated myself the lowest for results, but more business-wise, not necessarily fitness-wise, because I try to, for some reason with fitness, I can be more consistent than I can be in my business. And I don't know, I think it's because I put a lot of excuses in my way and I struggle a lot with consistency. I'm a pearl and I'm a sapphire, like straight down the middle. So I want to help people, but at the same time, I want to have fun. And I feel like at the same time that shoots me in the foot, because it's like, if it's not fun, I struggle with doing it. So for example, I always say that like I hate cold inviting. Like I hate it. It's not fun. I don't like talking to people I don't know. I'm kind of an introvert. So I struggle with that a lot. And I think that's why it's hard for me to like kind of hit Success Club consistently, to be growing in the business consistently, because I go by my feelings. So some days I'm like super motivated and like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I start talking to people and I start, working on it. And then other days I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like it. Like I don't want to talk to this person, or I'm not in the mood to do this right now. So I'll kind of let it fall by the wayside. And this year I've been like fighting through that a lot more and just kind of tapping into my why more, because I do want results. Like, I feel like that's so important business-wise. It's hard for me to build a strong team if I myself don't have results. Like, they don't have anything to kind of, I want to say, like, be inspired by.
You set the pace.
Right. So it's like they're not inspired to follow me because I'm not growing business-wise. So how can they feel like they're going to grow business-wise? So that's like my sharing.
Thank you for sharing. Again, it's just like you're very honest. You know exactly where you are. Do you want it enough to change it?
Yes.
I mean,
that's why I'm working on it.
The discipline sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. It absolutely sucks. But that's where you grow.
That's where you grow. You get comfortable with being uncomfortable for a while.
Because you have to earn the right to become the type of person that has success, the type of person that's a great leader. That's something you earn. That's not something that just happens because you signed up to become a Beachbody coach.
Wow. And it's weird because I feel like I have the capability. Like, I feel like it's weird. Okay. I feel like I'm meant to be a leader, right? Like, I feel it in my heart that that's something that I'm meant to be, because even before I became a Beachbody coach, like, I used to be super involved in church, and that's what called me, right? To be a leader. Like, I feel like I'm meant to do it, but I feel like I shoot myself in the foot because I'm always kind of like inconsistent. It's like I struggle with discipline. So.
And stops being fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
I got a yellow stick too. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll wrap it up. We're at an hour and almost half.
That's crazy.
I hope that this was helpful to you guys as much as it helped us when we did it. And we wanted to make sure that we paid it forward to you guys. There is a second part to these exercises, and we'll give you guys a date on when we'll do that virtual workshop. But I hope you guys got some value out of this, and I hope it's something that you're going to carry with you and realize, just a gut check. We always got to constantly do those gut checks as business owners. And own what we're doing and say, what can I do better? Take a step back constantly and say, okay, what do I need to work on? What are my strengths? What can I leverage to be better? And I hope that tonight's workshop helped you do that a little bit more and dig a little bit deeper. So with that being said, is there anything else you want to add, Audrey?
Just don't be upset with yourself. That's the number one thing I want to say. Everything you realize about yourself right now is just information for you to do better. Great leaders assess themselves all the time, because none of us are perfect. None of us. It's what you do with this.
Love it. So that being said, because I love to take pictures, can we take a picture before we go, guys? You guys okay with that? Yeah? All right, I think we have 2 screens. So I'm going to start with the first one, and then we'll go to the second one. So everybody cheese it. Screen 2. Hold it. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for phase 2 of this workshop. Have a fabulous night. Bye.